Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
What up, Colt? Hope all is well up there. Tell Gigi I said hi. I never had the platform to actually talk to you and tell you how I felt as a fan, and now I do, so I'm gonna sit down and share my thoughts with you through a fan's eye. You know, I heard this young kid was drafted in 1996 and was traded to the Lakers. You were actually drafted by the Hornets. And I was like, okay, just another guy drafted. And going to the Lakers, I was a fan of Shaquille O'Neal. I wanted him to win a championship, so we needed any help that we could get to that championship for Shaq. So it's playoff time, and I'm like, let's see what this young rookie have. Let's see what he has. What can he do? You're playing against the Utah Jazz, and you put up these air balls. It was not one, it was two, it was three and four. It did go into overtime, but I saw the confidence in your face. I've never seen someone shoot an air ball so many times with so much confidence. But I have to be real. I actually said to myself, who is this young kid? Why did we trade for him? And can we get rid of him by trading him next year? It seemed a little too cocky, seemed a little arrogant, slightly pompous. I didn't like anything about it, but I did respect that you had the heart to shoot that many air balls in such a big game. Just watching your growth process in this game of basketball became an obsession for me. I noticed that you were different. I noticed that you did things and thought them out. The elimination game against the Kings where you dropped 31 points, you had 11-11 from the line, and you also had 11 rebounds. It showed me that you were in beast mode. It didn't matter if Shaq was on the court or not. You wanted the ball in high pressure situations, and there was nothing that anyone was going to do to actually stop you from getting to where you wanted to be. I saw that in you. That's what made me a fan. The Western Conference Finals in 2000, Pippen thought he could guard you. He still thought he had the skills to guard you, but you were blowing by him every time. You were also putting him on the post, giving him a little bit of the MJ turning around, giving him the business. Even though Shaq did dominate that Western Conference Finals, and most people remember the alley-oop from you to Shaq, I could remember specifically watching you give Pippen the business. No one on that 2000 Trailblazers roster wanted anything to do with you. You were like icing on the cake, and we love you for that. The very next series against the Pacers, you and Shaq was going for your first championship. You're 22 years old, bro. You won your first. You put the team on your back when Shaq fouled out. When you was telling them to slow down, calm down, I got this. I saw it in you once again, and I'm like, I like this guy. This guy's giving people the business, and he got the swag of a MJ. He reminded me of MJ. A lot of stealing from MJ, the fadeaway, the way you even walked down the court, the way you chewed your gum. It was MJ, but it was different because it was you. It was Kobe Bryant. We never seen this before from someone else besides MJ. You understand what I'm saying, Cole? And oh yeah, let me tell you about the San Antonio Spurs battles. It showed me a lot. Your game was evolving into greatness. You averaged 28.2 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 4.7 assists against the Spurs in the playoffs for your entire career. Shaq was giving David Robinson the business and Duncan the business, but they had no perimeter player to stop you. You averaged 28 points in the playoffs against Duncan-led team. It was amazing. I hope people don't forget about those series against the Spurs when you started to elevate and evolve and show your greatness. Even Shaq noticed your greatness at that time. It was amazing, the putback over Duncan and over David Robinson. I don't think David was on that team. Actually, it was Duncan. The putback was just amazing. And once again, you told the team to calm down. We got this. In particularly, I got this. In 2001, your team was stacked, full of veterans. You didn't lose one game in the Western Conference playoffs that year, taking care of Portland 3-0, dismissing the Kings 4-0. Then busting the Spurs' ass 4-0. You went on to beat the 76ers 4-1. Iverson was able to steal one game, but the team was just too strong, and you got your second ring, baby. Kobe fans loved it. We knew it was coming. You weren't quite the Mamba yet. You were more like a dangerous garden snake. In 2002, this is where I believe you became the Black Mamba. The entire season you separated yourself from Shaq, not just his sidekick anymore. proving you can lead a team by yourself solo. You played all 82 games that year. You averaged 30 points, shooting 45% from the field, 7 rebounds and 6 assists a game. In the playoffs on your way to your third title, you averaged 26.8 points, 5.8 rebounds and 5.3 assists in the NBA Finals. Now my boy had 3 of them things. And much as I love MJ, and I will always think MJ's the GOAT, I begin to argue that Kobe Bryant might just be the GOAT. From my position, what I would say was Kobe had all the skills that Jordan had towards the end of Jordan's career, but Kobe had them at the beginning of his career. He had the jump shot, it was better than Jordan's. His left hand was better than Jordan's. He had the fadeaway, which Jordan got towards the end of his career when he could no longer be as athletic as he was in his early career. Kobe had that at the beginning, so he had the jump shot. His 3-point was better. His left hand was better. He had the fade, and actually he faded from the left and the right and off both feet. One thing that Michael Jordan didn't do. Now, he didn't become the GOAT as I thought, but this was my argument back then on why such a young Kobe Bryant could possibly be the GOAT. Then Shaq left for Miami. Shaq and Phil Jackson both said you were selfish, but I knew that wasn't you. You just wanted to show the rest of the basketball world that you can win without Shaq. Why should he not get surgery and be lazy and you work hard and you can't show people what you need to do and what you can become? I felt that, and that couldn't be done playing with Shaq. Phil Jackson left, wrote a book about you, talking about your selfish ways, but then he realized that you were the closest thing to MJ he's ever seen, and that he possibly could win a few more rings, so he came back. With Phil Jackson back on the bench, y'all made it back to the playoffs. Then the Phoenix game happened in the playoffs. You didn't want to shoot the ball. I totally understand why you didn't want to shoot the ball and what point you were making. But oh my God, Kobe, let me tell you, it gave your haters ammo to argue against your fans and your supporters. MJ wouldn't do that. He took too many shots anyway. He's selfish. Let's slander him. Blah, 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 blah. It was horrible, but I understood why you did it and I rode with you. But then in 2008, with a retooled roster, led by you and a skilled big man named Pau Gasol, you made it back to the finals versus the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics were hungry, led by 3 veterans, all winning championships. They were on a mission. You were ready. You were ready for battle. But your team wasn't. The bright lights and the big stage was just too overwhelming for them. And you lost your second championship. This crushed me. This was too overwhelming for me. That whole year I just sat and soaked and didn't want to watch SportsCenter. I saw it in your eyes when you walked off the court, that it hurt you as well. I knew it hurt you more than me, but in actuality, in my mind, it hurt me more than you. I knew that you would be back and the outcome would be different this time. In 2009, just 1 year later, as expected, you made it back to your 6th championship versus the Orlando Magic. The Lakers were the favorite in this matchup. And oh boy, did you put on a show, my boy, averaging 32.4 points, 7.4 assists, and 5.6 rebounds in the finals, and winning your first finals MVP, and letting it be known who the best player in the NBA was at that time. Fast forward 12 months, and you're back in the finals again, going for your 5th ring, which will make you just 1 shy of MJ, and then we could start that GOAT conversation again. And this time it's a familiar opponent, the Boston Celtics, who had beaten you 2 years earlier, pretty handedly I might say. But it was to be different this time around. Your soldiers were battle tested. They were defending champs. They had battle scars from the previous 3-year grind, plus Ron Artest was there to do your dirty work. The series went 7 games. To be honest, it was hard to watch Game 7. Both offenses struggled, every possession becoming pivotal. Even you yourself struggled. Your shot was off, but your heart and your defense was on display. You were 6 of 24 for 23 points with 15 rebounds and 2 assists. It was an ugly game, but you won your 5th championship, matching Magic Johnson in Lakers lore. I was over the moon 10 times 4th. This was my crowning achievement as a fan of yours. This was the top of the mountain for you and your fans. We loved you, Kobe. In 2013, after playing entirely too many minutes and bad coaching by D'Antoni, your Achilles finally gave out, but that Mamba mentality wouldn't let you just walk off the floor. You gutted it out, came back and took your 2 free throws, and walked off the court the way you wanted to, on your own. Kobe, I watched a lot of my favorite players towards the end of their career, and I knew in my heart of hearts that this was the beginning of the end for you and me as a fan. I knew you just wanted to rehab and come back to play the game that you loved and go out the way that you wanted to. Just like back in 2013, when you came back to take those last 2 free throws. On April 13th, 2016, you played your final game, and it was a classic. It was a dream. It was like I was dreaming. I was watching the movie, but the script was written too perfect. Every point you scored was needed. You didn't even think about passing the ball. The crowd screamed every shot, shoot it, every time you touched the ball, which is kind of ironic. You played 42 minutes, dropped 60 points with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. 1 steal, 1 block, and 2 turnovers. You were 22 of 50 from the field. That's a 44% field goal percentage for the game. The post-game speech was epic. It felt like you were talking directly to me as a fan. It was hard for me to see you leave the game, but it was the end of greatness, and I knew it was, and I watched it all. It was especially hard for me to believe. I wouldn't see you give these motherfuckers the business anymore. I echoed your last words as you began to speak them. Mamba, out. On January 26, 2020, a co-worker walks up to me at work and he says, "Did you hear about Kobe Bryant and what had happened?" He says, "Google it." He knew I was a huge Kobe Bryant fan. And I read that Kobe has been lost in a helicopter accident. At the time, they didn't know who was actually on the helicopter, but they were saying that it might be Vanessa and his entire family. And I called my brother, C. Anthony, and I say, "C, did you hear what happened to Kobe?" He says, "What?" And I told him what happened. And his first words was, "Jesus, have mercy," not to Kobe. And my voice cracked up and I started to shed tears. And it hurt me so much that I lost Kobe. He had begun to do so many other things in life, write the books, win the Oscars, and deal with girls basketball teams and just pushing women's sports in general. Excuse me, it's always a little hard talking about Kobe, but I just wanted to bring you through that day and let you hear how I found out about the loss of Kobe Bryant. It meant a lot to me. He meant a lot to me. He was my boy. I always feel like I was the #1 fan. I loved him. That was my boy. Rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant. We miss you. Thanks for watching Death After Sports. I've been your host, Sean Mack. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please hit up that comment section and let me know what you thought about Kobe Bryant's career and what he meant to you. Even the haters, get in that comment section. Let me know about Kobe. Once again, thanks for watching Death After Sports. Kobe Bean Bryant.